Okay, hi everyone. My name is Felina Farley. I am the Secretary/Treasurer of the National Black Caucus. Today's workshop is about how to take political coalitions and to turn them into campaigns for um, candidates and how to provide that feedback loop when it comes to economic injustices in the Black community. And I will have an example of this based on the press releases we've done in Maryland when it came to uh, the, the way they bulldozed a cemetery that had a lot of indigenous African slaves and put a self-storage unit on top of it. So did make some worksheets, but you can download it. It's on the description. Hopefully that got updated so you can follow along. I'm going to connect it with the theme of the A&M with People, Planet, and Peace. The people building a coalition locally, and the planet when it comes to accountability, and then for peace is divestment from domestic and global militarism, or as we say, an apartheid state that is still going on in America. So, do you have it? Okay. So we did a boycott when we endorsed nationally the no new jails hashtag for the Black Caucus, submitted that proposal to the National Committee. It was um, pretty much passed with consensus. Okay. So we prioritize the material needs of the Black family by challenging the mass incarceration regime in private prisons that find states for empty quotas, effectively demanding the end of the profit-driven human containment. So um, what we're seeing with a lot of reversing um, stances in Ohio specifically when it came to legalizing marijuana and making it more restrictive and causing more fines and penalties. It probably is connected to how much the crime rate goes down after the legalization, and they needed to fill the quotas of the private prisons, which was the real incentive of sorry about that. If that was the real incentive of um, reversing and making legalized marijuana more restrictive in Ohio, it really was because of the private prisons, um, and losing quotas and being fined by the private prisons for not meeting the quotas. The state. Mhm. This is the contracts that they had agreed to for these private prisons, that they had to meet certain quotas. Yeah. So, um, so we align with the Green Party of Ecology by coordinating boycotts against corporate monopolies that create toxic pollution, exploit the natural resources of African nations. Hopefully we'll be able to get more into that as we are now part of the Global Greens and um, can now get more involved when it comes to the Green parties in African nations. and boycotting this locally because it's usually American corporations that are affecting African nations. So we have not been able to have a strong connection with these coalitions since we haven't been in the global green. So hopefully we'll be able to get that connection back. We advocate for withdrawal of domestic military occupation forces from our neighborhoods by divesting from the financial institutions that fund state violence and international militarism. This is the hardest one because many Black people bank at Chase and Bank of America. I mean, they have the highest number of Black customers. And these are the main financial institutions that are funding these military and domestic occupations. That's why in the Green Party, we always encourage everyone, no matter if it's a campaign or your state party, to always have your banking under a credit union, and especially for your campaigns as well. Thank you. Okay, so this is the interactive part of the workshop that I do not have handouts for you, but the people online can participate. So what we're going to do is take a sample of what the Black Caucus would do in a situation that happened in Maryland, okay, with the cemetery. So I did make a sample to go over with you some of this. So when the case first started, I want to go up one because I know we're running out of time, so I want to go over some stuff. No, it's not on here. Okay.
I'm gonna try it one more time to because it's not finding this HDMI. That side.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Oh, this is different.
Oh, yeah, Linux only, sorry.
Uh, it's just oh, these are all different. This is I don't use I use. Where's the settings?
That's where we're at, and
No,
let me go back to
displays.
why did it not, it's not even showing that it's, I'm not seeing, the other monitor right now.
Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. All the way down, you see mouse and trackpad, keyboard.
Nope, it's not, it usually would say like one or two.
It's plugged in. Is this it?
Yeah, it's plugged in, but it's not seeing it or registering. So exit out. Show webinar. Oh,
There we go.
what the heck? All right. All right. So, is it, but I can never remember how to pronounce this, right? Is it Bethesda?
Yeah.
Bethesda African? Yep. So, what we're gonna do is go over what happened in Maryland with that's the African cemetery case. Um, and the coalition that built there. Then you want to do a candidate scouting when it comes to identifying the organizers and community leaders ready to run for that office that is affecting the decision of getting rid of the cemetery. What we have a problem with the party is though we endorse these coalitions and we do the outreach and we volunteer with these coalitions, but we're not scouting because the people making the decisions are being bought and paid for by these companies that want to put that storage facility in there, and you have to attack them both sides. You have to run a candidate against them that's making that decision and say, okay, we're going to replace you with these people and we're boycotting and we're protesting. And that was definitely demonstrated in Washington with, what's her name? That she's running for US Senate right now. But when you have like both at the same time, you have to attack from both fronts because, and the problem we have with the Black community is they still think they could do that with the Democrats, or they still think they could do that with Democratic Socialists, and it never works that way. And it still ends up going into the company's favor because they're giving all this money for some other projects and say, look, we're trying to look for the future. We're donating to children's centers. So they're talking about the past and this old cemetery. That's exactly how they get around and convince them to, even though they don't want this to happen, they'll be like, well, they invested all this money into our children's center or youth center or something like that. So we have to focus more on that candidate scouting within the coalition itself, who has the strongest voice, and to build around the coalition that was formed in the first place to stop it. So since 2017, developers have built a self-storage facility on Old Moses African Cemetery, partial 242 on River Road in Bethesda, what's it called? Bethesda, Maryland, a burial ground for kidnapping enslaved Africans and their free descendants. Um, the coalition was called BACC. That's why I just said it back, because that was the acronym they used. Formed by members of the Macedonia Baptist Church. They sued in 2024 to stop it, to stop degradation. The developers countersued them in 2025 for defamation and interference. They won. And now it's has that storage facility on it. And I mean, there's pictures, they show pictures of the bones of it was pretty bad. Yep. So we lost a lot of history. It was the Self-Storage Partners, that was the LLC, or 1784 Capital Holdings, LLC. The offices that we needed people to run in that could fix this was the Montgomery County Historic Preservation Commission and the Montgomery City Council. And unfortunately, we do have Greens running, but they were running at either the state or the higher level. They had no one running exactly for those seats, because even though I think it was Nancy that was running, that would have been in that area, she wouldn't have had a direct effect running as a state rep. So, and we probably needed a Black candidate in that for that county seat as well. Nothing against Nancy. She's a great person. But we probably needed a Black candidate specifically for that district for that. It didn't look like it was District 1. So the main candidate that would have been perfect would have been Dr. Marsha Coleman that was leading this coalition. Um, and her background is extensive of what she did with the environmental protection and a civil rights act on I mean, her history, she would have been perfect to be on that, but at the same time, she might have been the person to find the person that could run in that county seat. Maybe she didn't, want to do that. She didn't want to get in politics, but she knew people within the coalition to do it. And we didn't have the resources to like work with the Maryland Green Party and the Black Caucus to try to get people to run for those county seats to overturn this. And that's what we have to start focusing on as a party, figuring out how to run people against them and convincing the coalition too, because sometimes the coalition will be like, we don't want to mix this up. We just want to do it this one way. And we don't want to get involved. We just want to try to convince these people already in city council our way versus the money they're getting in the back door that's really doing the convincing. So it's, we have internal battles when it comes to coalitions versus running candidates because without both, it doesn't work. It works better, just like the Montgomery bus boycotts. It was both. It wasn't just the boycott, it definitely was running people for those seats at the same time. You have to do both, and it has to be coming from the same place. Same coalition of people that when they get that seat, that coalition is also replacing the staff because the staff can be just as corrupt as the politicians, probably even more because they get to just stay in those positions while the politicians go circling as well. So you're going to have the coalition be behind the candidate and be able to supplement some of those positions for the staff because it's just as problematic. So those are a lot of things that we as a party have to have a lot more conversations about when it comes to who's running, but also, and they will likely win when it comes to it. We are strong at the local level. We do win these seats a lot. That's statistically where we at. So when we win, then what? So that's why when we win, we have to have a coalition coming from this win. So they are also part of it, because for me, I always say, okay, we won, but don't just throw me in the cave with the lions by myself. Expect me to do miracles. No, 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 no. Y'all all coming with me. So yeah, that is the strategy that we have to focus on, especially as the Black Caucus, because we know how hard it is to maneuver this stuff. If we don't have that game plan in place with the Black Caucus and the state and local working together to specifically win a local seat to stop something locally. Okay, so that's what this worksheet is supposed to be about, to help you break down exactly how to strategize with the coalition to run campaigns with the coalition and build the campaign and the coalition together. Also, and it makes it easier to have that mutual aid component with it as well, because we are less likely to have much help even after we win. And most of us know if we don't have a strong coalition with those wins, those Green Party candidates end up going for the Democrats or they'll switch their party because they say they didn't have enough help. And they come in and swoop them, take them up, and they switch to Democrat because they have that infrastructure. So that's why this is so important when it comes to building campaigns around an issue and making both the campaign and the issue stronger and winning. And then what's next? It's not just about the win, it's how to sustain it. So, any questions so far? Because, this was a good example. It was heartbreaking. Um, that we couldn't do more to stop this, but I definitely wanted to use this as an example. Mhm.
Oh, my mind over here.
Yep.
Wait, that one's, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat the question because. we
Okay.
have to take part- No, we have to take the cord out and move it over to this one because the cord's no good. Sorry.
Yeah.
Talk loud.
Yeah, talk loud.
I can do that. I want to talk about solidarity. That's the thing that I've seen so often be the issue because it's like you're saying, like you got this local core group, then you got the Green Party, they're like, we're the electoral wing of the left, people support you, but it's often seen as a like, oh no, we're going to take over. And it's like somehow we need to convey the fact that we're not trying to take over, we're trying to work in coalition with the cause that you are doing. So, and it's like, we don't want to do all of it. We want you to do, something that's like, sometimes, that's what, or like, sometimes we've had things thrown in our laps. Oh, you want to help with this? Here, do it. And we're not, and I'm like, no, you do it. We'll give you electoral backing, run your candidates from your group.
Yep, because that's the main thing we run into is that they want to like separate the issues. And then it's like that has never been the case historically on how we had wins. So that's what we got to remind people. Yes.
Being political.
Mm-hmm. Politicized, yeah.
Solidarity comes from being in the trenches with each other. So it is kind of like this like aggravating thing to have somebody just come in and be like, oh, I see you guys have done this work, so here I am, the politician, let me bring it to the front stage. And it's like, we need to be there from the beginning. We need to be sitting in those meetings, getting angry with people, crying with people, so that they can see like, oh no, they're in it with us. Even though they're a politician and they're gonna bring it to that stage, they also need to see that we are taking those issues to heart and we're part of that community. That's how I think solidarity just organically forms, is when they see that you're like brothers in arms fighting the thing, not just on the outside coming in. You can then go and say, listen, I have these people connected, but at least one or two people should just be there top to bottom with
It's a beautiful thing if it can happen, but
Yeah.
also to be open to like, okay, I just found out about this. And I'm
no,
like,
of course, but I'm
that's
saying
what
like when you
that's-
find out, if you think I have the time in my schedule, let me go to these meetings, let me follow up with somebody, like make one or two friends and be like checking in, hey, I just heard about this other thing, is it anything that could potentially help this? Because if they see that you're even following up on stuff without being prompted and like tapped, then they're like, wow, I've never had a politician come to me and how they really, how they I think that's something that at least on my end, I always feel like it's so interesting how politicians always seem to send those text messages, but they're never really asking about the issue.
Let's unplug it. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the thing, it's the catch. It's gotta have some sort, the solidarity comes with some sort of trust.
What's that?
Not just any shaky politician walking in, but someone that really.
Somebody who's really showing
They
like, oh, this is
understand.
important.
I wasn't here for this issue, but I know I've been doing this, it's very similar with people. The goal you are, same goal, that's true.
It definitely helps to not start out by saying like, oh, I've been there. It helps to just really be sitting there asking questions, trying to like,
Trying something out.
oh,
Like,
absolutely.
So it's like, oh, it's figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that, like, as she's talking about this right now, I would have never known that they were building a cold storage.
That's close, but it's worse. But that's what they do. They divide
They-
the conquer.
Yeah, and yep, they don't put a voice. A lot of the stuff we promote on the Black Caucus is usually the stuff that doesn't get a lot of attention, and or we could tell it's being shadow banned. But at the same time, the Maryland Green Party needed more help with the Black Caucus, and we didn't connect that way when it comes to trying to find candidates very early on to run against those council seats that were compromising this whole thing. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will have, I do have some blanks. I was gonna try to make copies, but the way the UIC printing is, it's like, do y'all have an actual copy machine around here? No, I guess not. But I could, yeah, and I'll post it in a Venti somewhere. I'm sure I can. But yeah, these worksheets are very helpful because we have so many situations like this where things the steam got lost because they didn't run candidates, independent candidates against, along with the boycott, along with the protests, along with the any type of coalition. So, because that usually freaks out the establishment. And you know it's working when they spend so much money on this very small local race. And the next thing you know, it's like $2 million. $2 million for a city council race, really? But yeah, that's what they do. So you know it's working. Hmm.
Well, black, so that's what the people that try to explain that the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, is duopoly, they're entrenched in this, and there's no, you can't change them. You think you can, you'll try to do it, but it won't work.
Hmm.
It looks like maybe the GSA is doing something there because they're separate. Let's see how long they stay separate, but, well, whatever, but they're being, like, they used to fight us the hardest, now they're fighting them harder.
Hmm.
Oh, you know, it's a threat. Not get into our, yeah. So.
Yep. Yep. Because and that's not really our fault that people are so distrusting of, okay, here come the politicians coming in trying to do something to our coalition. But it really is, we're not the problem. We have an American problem. We don't have a Green Party problem. Green Party is just fine in other countries, just the way we're doing it here, but in other countries, it's a little bit more acceptable and, based on their laws, but we're getting there eventually. Um, Biggest thing I'm dealing with locally is ranked choice voting. The way they're coming, the way they came down so hard in Ohio to ban it, was ridiculous because I and many of us were pushing the fact that ranked choice voting was already in Ohio in the 1800s, and more Black women, Black councilmen, women, just all walks of life were getting elected to local seats because of ranked choice voting. And we have this history and everything. And they swooped in, made it a big deal about inconsistencies. They just lied and just made up stuff and saying it doesn't work. And we're just like, we have history that it did work. Compared to the other states, Ohio actually has history. Like, we could say, make Ohio great again with ranked choice voting. We could actually use that tagline. And Mocha, yeah, we could have said Mocha or something. Um, so that's what we were going with. So I think they saw that as a huge threat. That's why they came down so hard on us. Because especially me, because trying to help being on the speakers um, bureau of the ranked choice voting thing to speak about how more Black people were elected to county seats over it in Ohio. And boy, did our Zooms get Zoom bombed with inward, 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 inward. Yeah, a lot of people do not know what happens in a lot of these groups, I tell you. It is not easy to deal with what I deal with. But yeah.
Choice voting in a ranked choice voting
Meeting. Mm-hmm. That got Zoom bombed. Yep. The beginnings of it, when it first started in 2017. Yeah. Hmm. We were one of the first organizations to endorse it.
That sounds like historically makes sense, but the book by Toni Morrison, Beloved,
Hmm.
which they crossed the Ohio River and then that was freedom. And I mean, that's when you had that, and then that's colonialism takes that back. Like, oh no,
Hmm.
yeah, can't
Yeah.
put that power.
Right. Even though it's historically what Ohio was supposed to be about, I mean, the Underground Railroad landmarks are all over it. So you would think, you would think, but yeah, that's, you know, um, and this probably next year we're going to be starting to our ballot access back because of these crazy laws that they put in Ohio. I mean, it's ridiculous. If every state had the restrictions Ohio has, we wouldn't have ballot access at all. It's just we'd be suffering all over the place. So yeah, it's got to be just most states don't need over 100 some thousand signatures. You know, most states don't need that many for ballot access. So yep. And see, oh, I got another Q&A. Hold on, guys, because I know. Oh, okay? So the worksheet, the plain worksheet, did that come in okay, Belinda? I don't know if it. No. Okay. Well, I will probably try to share that in Eventi. Um, and I think Anita, Athena, Athena could share it too. I'm sure she could help share these type of worksheets because this is one of those things where you can come to it over and over again for any issue. And okay. All right. Thank you, Belinda.
What's the ballot access rule in Ohio?
We have to collect 1% of either the presidential or um governor's races. Um, we lost ours in 2018. We didn't go for it for the 2020 because, well, that's before COVID hit, but we decided not to because the threshold would be higher with after presidential races. So we were going to wait till 2022 after the governor's race, but COVID. So that was a squash because no, a lot of our people were not going out there to petition and no one was signing anything. And yeah, so 2024, again, the threshold is higher. So after this election, we will officially try. I think we can do it once the threshold get down. We can at least only need like maybe 20,000 to 30,000 versus 100 something, you know.
Best place to ask this question, but it specifically in Ohio, which elected office makes that ruling about the.
That was the state legislators. Yeah. Which, again, it would be great for us to get ballot access back to run legislative races because once we have it back, each candidate only needs 25 signatures. So our threshold is super low once we get it back. So yeah, it is worth getting it back. We'll have more people that were willing to run if they only need 25 signatures or 50 signatures, something like that. Yep.
Self care wear you down.
Mm.
That's what we always gotta hold each other up.
Mhm.
Stop the infighting, arguing about little details.
Yep.
Work the main cause,
Mm-hmm.
find the direction and go for that and stick with it.
Yep.
How does it go? Don't let nobody turn your side. Gotta do it. Turn you around. Right?
Yep. Yep. And like I said, we can also practice with some issues going on in Chicago, um, and who locally should be running to get these people out that was allowing these stuff, stuff that's happening in Chicago right now. And it's not just ICE, it's the closing of the schools, you know? These are the issues we should be focusing on right now. Who's going to run to replace these people along with these coalitions that are, protesting and trying to stop this from closing more schools in Chicago? So,
Should be good to see it. Any thoughts on him as far as yes, no, maybe with,
no,
I mean, he was supposed to be a progressive, but a progressive Democrat, totally centrist.
yeah, that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
They'll come out progressive, but then they get AOC'd. That's what I call it. Got us. So, all right, I don't want this to run over. I'm sorry for the late start, everyone. I did skip over more examples like, the reparations coalition, what happened if that at the local level versus the national level for reparations. Oh, okay, good. All right. All right. And go back a little bit. Okay. Well, that was the other. Go back. Okay. So the mapping part, that's a good thing to go over. Like, you also you also have to do this follow the money mapping. It makes your argument more precise about why it's so important to run candidates in these seats that are making these decisions. And once you have that saying this corporation is paying this or they're bribing with this spendage of this and everything like that. So you have to have a very and usually the coalition, and once you build that trust and relationship, the coalition will really get into the whole follow the money train because they need that evidence themselves to convince more people to do a boycott or do a protest or whatever. But that also works in your favor of running for office against that seat because they are compromised in some way. So, um, well, that's the thing about depending on what the issue is. Like, the mapping with the cemetery was based, that was kind of easier because who bought the land, but then are they also donating certain funds to certain things to say, look sideways, like you have to look over here, look what we're doing over here versus what we're doing over here. So that is very important to do. And then scoring too. How are they score it? Like, what are they donating to? Which issues are they trying to donate to like sway opinions? You know what I mean? Like they're playing chess, you got to kind of play chess too. You know what I mean? You say have a question? Right. Yeah. So on that slide, that was like a worksheet example. Like I had a blank one, and then I took that as example and put it in the worksheet. So, uh, like this was like the plain worksheet of it, and then I'm like showing exactly how you would candidate scout for this issue of stopping this military, and um, like this part right here, the candidate scouting is I think the most important part because Dr. Marcia Coleman, she would have been the prime candidate to run in that county for that seat. But she's also would have been the prime person to contact to recommend someone in the coalition that could run in that seat. So it was like really needed to connect with getting someone to actually run for that city council District 1. Because I think Nancy was, yeah, but she was running at the state level.
Yeah.
The state level will have no decision on what was going on with this cemetery. So we needed someone to run at that level. So. But with it, like I said, Maryland was super supportive. They made a update to our platform to have the reparations plan include these type of issues with cemeteries and our preservation of our history and everything. So that was added. But at the same time, we didn't have a candidate. And of course, they finished the project and that storage facility is there. So it did not work. I mean, if you want to take it further, I would say, make sure there's a coalition to boycott that storage facility, but anybody that might not even live in that district could still, store stuff there. So you just might not get any local business.
But resistance problems.
Yeah.
We had situations where there was an applicant, American Cemetery, and CMAX was going to expand and wanted to go right across this area.
Mhm.
And so because we had this resistance, we went environmentally, like the people that lived around there, so land use issues, the cemetery. So we did have this coalition.
Mhm.
I was sort of against them, and they got it through, but they had to bring it up over the ground. Over the road, because I was also, it was like the road, what they call Canopy Road, that went through there, it was a rural, and so it was, all these historical things, like don't mess with any of these.
Mhm.
And then, so they did it, and it's like, we partnered with Walt Disney, they were like, oh my God, what's going, but it's just like this huge pipe that's painted, like in, nature colors, like browns and greens, like it looks like plants, part of the canopy.
Right.
But anyway, the point is like, it's the resistance. Don't do anything, don't do it however they want, they will do it. If you resist it, you can maybe stop it on some issue. But if you can't stop it, you at least make them work around what you need them to do. So they didn't plow through the roads, they didn't plow through the neighborhoods, they didn't go to the cemetery, they didn't do any of that. They still got their way, but they had to modify it.
Right.
Get their way. So I mean, sometimes it's a compromise like that, but it's better than like just saying, "Oh, no, nothing we can do about it."
Yeah.
Always exist. It can find different ways.
All right. Any other? Hmm?
So based on that, you mentioned maybe there could be a coalition and boycotts, but did the cemetery get completely set up, destroyed already anyway? What happened to those graves and the contents of those graves?
That was the part of the lawsuit.
But physically,
The garbage.
no.
Yeah. They dug it up and we couldn't even stop them from tossing it in the dump. Yeah.
So boycotting the storage unit really wouldn't help much at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it would only be effective locally,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't, it's a storage unit. So anyone from outside the district would use it. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think they are endorsing other movements locally right now. So, yep. But if you got any ideas, remember, if you want to join the Black Caucus, it's at blackcaucusgreens.org. And like I said, we usually help with that, because, you know, sometimes I wonder if, you know, the Maryland Green Party just didn't focus on bringing the Black Caucus involved to help with that communication to try to get someone Black to run in that county. So, well, hopefully we'll get, you know, more organized. It looks like we will with these SMART goals we're doing. So we'll get more organized, y'all.
It's like, there's so many things thrown at, when they have the powers to make laws.
Yeah.
There could be this, and you go, okay, we're gonna follow this, and then they change it to that, and then you gotta, so you gotta back up and go that, and it's just like they do it on purpose.
Mhm.
It's expected,
Mm-hmm.
and then you adjust to it, but it's not easy. They don't make it easy at all.
They want to burn it out. So,
Yes, yeah, burn out the energy, burn out, yeah, some.
like among ourselves, I
I
think
guess it
it
stops.
helps we just like delegate, like, okay, this week we
Okay.
try to on top of this, and then we'll trade out that way. We fucking, we all have like, you know, day jobs and we have going on in our lives, so we just gotta lean on each other.
Yeah, however it works, so like, this is your issue, focus on it,
Mhm.
and don't worry about, the others, will take this one.
Or I just mean like keeping track of those
Right.
like shifting goalposts that like we all just kind of just get
And
blindsided by.
that's the issue
Yeah,
itself,
we
right?
have to just always have our finger on the pulse, checking like, so are these still
Issues,
laws?
that's the issue. you know?
Yep, yep.
It was like in Baltimore, let's explain what happened in Baltimore with the highway. They did it.
Yeah, it's like a shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can believe that in parking lots.
And they divided it. It's like, oh, what's the freeway right here?
That's what happened.
Really far apart.
Yep.
Public transportation.
There's in Columbus, Ohio, there's this expressway called the 670 that was it went straight through a Black neighborhood to the airport and displaced so many. The whole neighborhood got displaced. So yeah, it happens so much, and it's sad, but yeah.
That indigenous, same way.
Mhm.
It's like, whatever movement we can damage.
Oh, they absolutely, like, cause you have to,
That's
starting, it's like, it's so, what is it, predatory.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
you
not
know,
all.
like, your mind tells you, I'm sure they had a strip mall that they could have easily just bought out these businesses and built, like, all this space here. They explicitly go to these neighborhoods and just wanna prey on people to make life harder,
Yep.
to feed into the whole, like, carceral thing. That's just my.
Well, out of Walmart, it's building on this beer, next to a beer sanctuary, and it's like, they're like, now, build on the other side of the highway. It's it's, US 19, US highway. Oh, no, we wanna build over here. The only thing we're gonna do is just put super Walmart. But anyway, we did bottom up, but then they came back with more money, and they bribed county commissioners, but the thing is like, they justify it, and they look at it like this, they literally said, if we can build here, which is a controversial area, we can build anything.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The rather commercial areas, nobody can be able to stop this.
Yep.
Yeah, they were not, they didn't see. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
In New York,
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend whose wife is, she does, documentary,
Okay.
and, they were filming something and they discovered cemetery
Mm-hmm.
somewhere,
Yep.
and there's a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wanted to then mention about.
It's a street corner, so they build the street corner.
Oh.
How they do this on purpose and it's predatory. There's a book that's not new, like from the early part of the 20th century. It's called Brookshot. And it's the details of how HUD, after the Second World War, the Housing and Urban Development
Mm-hmm.
Department of the federal government, did that on purpose, and the way that black neighborhoods in northern cities were divided by big highways.
Yeah.
Purposely,
Yeah.
but she goes into detail, it's really an interesting book, she goes into detail about how that affected the neighborhoods of families, and how they got together and renew their connections as best they could, but basically it has been devastating and purposeful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, that's on record,
Mm-hmm.
Brookshot.
Yep.
ROOT.
Yes, yes,
ROCK.
okay, we pulled ourselves up from the south, we got to a new world, we started in like, we have a new neighborhood. This is the neighborhood where people sitting there rocking chairs on the porch and mind the children.
Mhm.
But, oh, now here comes the high.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Or Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Start
We call it Jim Crow 2.0.
2.0 what?
Jim Crow 2.0. Like- All right. Yeah, we got it. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to switch to tech support help now.